to group number 2, and I'm calling Portal Startup. Where are you? One person. Oh my God, this is going to be tough. The micros.
Slides. Yeah.
Are there any slides
Yeah.
for?
Here.
Come on, you're the expert. Slides. Double click. I can see it.
Yep, but it's not on the big screen.
But not all of you. It's very exclusive. Get a little help. Yes. Here we go.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck. Thanks. Just a sec. Okay, yeah. So, Internet today is dominated by large platforms, and that creates a lot of problems, and I'm not going to go into them because that's pretty well known. Funnily, the solutions that try to tackle those problems also all work under the assumption of a platform-dominated internet and try to to regulate those platforms. But this is not a law of nature. It's just the way that the internet evolved over time, right? And there are alternatives. For example, self-hosting. So right now there's a vibrant self-hosting community, and people use hardware like Raspberry Pis or old notebooks and host their own services. And for many applications, there are pretty good alternatives that can be self-hosted. There are, for example, social networks and office tools and messaging solutions and so on. Many people do this just as a fun hobby, but there's also a clear motivation of sovereignty and of taking power back. But doing this is not easy or convenient, and you need some technical knowledge. Now, we are building a digital product called Portal, and it takes the proven idea of self-hosting with the existing applications that are out there, and the idea of having your own private space on the internet, and it combines it with the proven technology of cloud computing, with the flexibility and the convenience. But the key ingredient here is the Portal core software stack. That's like the glue between those two. It has a slick browser-based UI, which is inspired by smartphone UI, so it feels a little like a smartphone in the cloud. And it hides all the complexity of self-hosting and turns a Portal into a turnkey solution that just works out of the box. It's always on and always online and can really be your home on the internet. And it offers many more features that go far beyond what self-hosting offers, and also enables Portal to become an ecosystem in its own right. So with that, we are trying to kind of turn around the balance of power. Right now, people are guests at the platform of big companies, and with Portal we can turn that around so that companies are guests on the platforms of sovereign individuals. And in fact, you can try that out right now. I've got the link here in the corner and a code, and it takes only a few seconds, so you can just give it a try. All right, thanks.
Well, actually, when I first heard your pitch concerning decentralization, ownership, it made me think a lot of kind of the principles that is driving the NFT community. You know, it's kind of from the type of thinking. So coming from that, I'd like to know if blockchain does play a role in your concept.
No, not really, not right now. I mean, there may be applications and ways to somehow tie that in, but in my opinion, blockchain is a technology that solves a very, very narrow problem very well, but it's right now being applied to all kinds of problems where there's just isn't a match, right? So yeah, that's not a plan. Actually, you know, with Portal we are using pretty traditional and pretty boring technology, right? And that's a good thing because that means it's proven and it works.
Thank you.
Please.
So I find your idea actually really brilliant, and the fact that we try to change the paradigm and give control back to the users.
Thanks.
My question, though, is for Portal, do you see any specific niche that you would like to occupy, or it's really broad in the sense, like you said, you know, let's dumb it down so you still take control, but you have Portal being the bridge without taking on all the headache of self-hosting? But is there something specific you would like to focus on?
Yeah, actually, I mean, the vision, like for in a few years, really is that everyone can use Portal for everyone that people use their smartphones for right now, right? So no specific niche. However, in the beginning, of course, we will have to start somewhere. We'll have to address some small market first and optimize for that. We are in the process of finding that market. So if anyone has any ideas where Portal could be especially useful in the beginning, then please tell me, because that's one of the major challenges right now, finding that.
And how quickly, like we are dependent today on, you know, certain platforms, how quickly do you think people will then start being dependent on something like Portal?
Well, I mean, I hope very quickly, but the dependency is of a different nature, right? With Portal, it's working with a subscription model, so you really are, the user is really the customer and not the product. And also on the roadmap, there's the option for self-hosting your own Portal, so then you can really have all the power yourself. So it's not the same kind of dependency, not at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Can I ask a technical question?
Go ahead.
So one of the beauties of data is that it increases its value if you combine it. Now, if I understand correctly, the idea is to confine data of a user to one specific location. And that probably means that some visitor can get a copy of that data. Now, how can you combine data and leverage the potential of combined data in that context?
Hopefully you can't, because the value in combined data is often created because then you are able to learn a lot about people and use that to manipulate them. So
that's sorry if I may interrupt, but that's the negative side, right? I personally use, don't tell anybody, Google Maps all the time, and I love the feature that I can see where there's traffic jams. Right. And that's one example where obviously it's the combination of data that is useful rather than individual data points. Yeah. And of course you couldn't argue, yes, but there's evil Google and blah, blah, blah. But maybe that illustrates how useful combined data can be. Also take data from the COVID pandemic that we've had, right? That would be a different example. Yeah.
Okay, but, well, I mean, I guess then there's the question, how can you collect data and only use it for good and not for bad? And that's above my pay grade, so to say. So I don't know how you can do that. With Portal, I'm trying to give the option for people to to hold back their own data. And, well, maybe you can just give them the choice, right? And say, okay, do you want to share your location history, your location data with some aggregation thing so that people can see where it's crowded and where not? But then they at least have the choice, right?
Who are the people that are into self-hosting at the moment? What is their motivation? What are their values? Have you any insights into that?
Yeah, actually I did a survey just a few weeks ago on the Reddit subreddit about self-hosting, and There are two motivations mainly. One is just the technical curiosity and the tinkering with the hardware and with the software. And the other really is having the control over your own data, right? And not giving everything up to companies where you don't know what happens with it.
Thank you.
How do you secure my data on your portal?
I think the most important part of how it is secured is by aligning the incentives. When you're a customer, you pay for your portal, and that means that we have no need to harvest your data and do anything with it. Actually, securing it in a way that even we cannot look at it is a very hard technical challenge, and I am not aware of any way how we could do this. We can just say, okay, we are not dependent on looking at your data because we create the incentives in such a way. Okay, no more questions? Okay, thanks a lot.
No more question. Exit portal.